What's going on, everyone? I'm Jon Gillin, and this is Silver Sound Guitar. Today, I want to cover something that I've had a lot of students come to me, and this issue is really common. So a lot of students have come to me with this problem, and it's especially those that know their pentatonic shapes. They kind of know those boxes up and down the fretboard, but they do sort of feel like, hey, I'm stuck. I'm trying to find a new way to do this, and a new way to everything sort of sounds the same, so how do I break out of it? And today, I want to help you sort of think outside the box, that's a pun definitely intended, and help you spice up these pentatonic shapes of yours. So, here we go. We're going to jump into this. I've got a tab for you here, a sheet where you can download this. This is a PDF and a Guitar Pro file. Just click the link below. It'll send you to it. You can download it. If you don't already have Guitar Pro and you're a student here, do let us know. We can send you a discount code. It's a super useful tool. Ask your teacher about it. Ask me about it. Whatever. Go ahead and just ask some questions. So let's jump into these licks. What's cool about this is going to give us a slightly different way to connect these shapes up the fretboard. I'm going to use the 4th string and the 3rd string respectively here, and I'm starting right here on that 5th fret, and it's going to go like this. Then I'm going to shift up to the 7th fret. I'm going to play 7 and 10 on the 4th string, and then 7 and 9 on the 3rd. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and shift up to 10, 12, 9, 12. And then finally 12 and 14 on both of those. Now, what I'm doing is I'm connecting these shapes up the fretboard 2 strings at a time. And I'm just... So now when I build on that, I've got this cool little lick that allows me to ascend. Now the other thing I really like doing is playing that same ascending pattern, but descending inside of those 4-note patterns. So let me demonstrate. That's starting here on the 7th fret, like that. And then the next one is going to be on the 9th fret, 9, 7, 10, 7. Then 12, so what's cool about this is you have this ascending note, but there's a descending pattern behind it. It's this cool cascading effect. It'll sound like this. And then you can speed it up. And it gets this really cool descending pattern. So I want to put some of this in context for you. I'm just going to throw on a really basic backing track here, and we'll get a sense of kind of what this whole thing sounds like when we can use it in context. So here we are in A minor, and I can kind of use this initially kind of thinking maybe in 8th notes. Or I can think in terms of 16th notes. Like that. Now I can also do that ascending, of course. And then you can build that up. And now you can also use that on 2 different strings. It doesn't have to be those strings. Anywhere where you can visualize those patterns connected. So we could do like here. And then you can, of course, walk that backwards, too. Or even build on that and shift it. And, of course, you kind of get the idea here. So what's neat about it is you're able to just sort of keep building on these ideas and move around the fretboard a little bit more. So from here, what I want to talk about is a pattern that's actually more rhythmically based. Now, this is something that's really fun to play around with. It's an Eric Johnson lick. So what Eric Johnson does here is he usually likes to take these groups of 5 notes, but he's not going to play them as a quintuplet. He usually likes to play them as 8th notes, 16th notes, or sometimes even triplets, which is a really cool effect. But what he does here is he takes this, here's just kind of an example one. This is going to be the 14th or 16th and the 14th fret. So it's this group of 5 notes, 16, 14, 16, 14, 17. Which is kind of cool, but out of context, it's hard to get a sense of really what's going on. So let me go ahead and throw a backing track on for us here, just so we can get a sense of it. And now, when we put this into context, now, what you hear there is you hear how it kind of glides over that pattern, or the downbeat. And the reason is because when we're thinking about it in terms of 16th notes, 1 E and 2 E, that's going to be the emphasis that you're putting on that downstroke is going to be on the second 16th note of the second beat. And that's kind of crazy to think about, but when you start putting that whole thing together, it takes a while for that whole cycle to come back around. And it creates this really neat floating aspect to these descending things. So one more time, we'll give it a listen here. So again, you can kind of hear how it sort of takes some time for that whole thing to just land back on that A, and it creates this neat cascade pattern. You can apply that anywhere that you can find groups of 5 notes within your pentatonic scales. So I want to go ahead and go over the lick that I've got for you here in the tabs, and we're just going to play it super slow at first, and then you'll get a good sense of what's going on. So here, we're going to go ahead and approach this all the way up here. This is going to be an E minor. We're going to take that same basic shape, the one that almost everybody knows, and we're going to play it like this. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's where we're going to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one more time. Now, you can put this in 8th notes. Like I said, he'll use 8th notes or triplets even sometimes, and it just sort of depends on what he wants to do with it. So if we try to put this in context here in this E minor, and we just want to get comfortable first maybe with the timing on it, and the good way to do that is take a 4-note pattern and kind of build out those 16th notes. And you'll see Eric Johnson do this as well sometimes, so you get the... So there's that 5. Now, when you only play it once through those patterns, you get a slightly different cascading 5 than if you kind of come back to the top. That's just something to watch out for. And you can mix it in with those like groups of 16th notes and all sorts of stuff. So there's a lot of things that we can do now with these cool pentatonic ideas, and we can build on this a little bit and even kind of mix and match some of these ideas. So if I wanted to build these ascending ideas here, like right there. Okay, so you kind of get some cool ideas out of these licks. Something a little extra, something a little different. That ascending pattern, of course, is always one of my favorites, and that neat little fives lick is something that's really fun to try to work through. The picking on it can get a little tricky, but we can cover that next time. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great time, and let me know if you've got any questions. Be sure to do all the linking and subscribing and the clicking and the fun stuff. And until then, I will see you next time.